What's going on, guys? rBangerz here. What are some very creepy facts? There is a genetic disease called fibrodysplasia ossificans progressiva. Yeah, I just butchered that. When tissue is damaged, it is replaced with bone. Growth from underneath their skin and their joints lacks solids, so over time, those affected slowly become encased in a prison of bone just beneath their own skin. They usually have to choose between sitting or standing up for the rest of their life. By the end of their life, they have to drink every meal through a straw and can barely move. Holy shit, that's morbid. It's like you're pretty much literally trapped by your body at that point. Oh, that fucking sucks. Your eyes have a separate immune system from the rest of your body. If they get damaged in such a way that it affects anything other than your eyes, your regular immune system can attack the damage and will not recognize them, meaning your own body can permanently blind you. Yeah, isn't that like the same thing as AIDS? Like, isn't AIDS literally your own immune system attacking you? Well, I guess that's any like immuno disorder or whatever. Like, oh, that's fucked. What's worse, your body cannot tell the difference between either eye. If one of them gets infected or damaged, your immune system can attack your healthy eye and take away your sight entirely. Oh yeah, see, that's fucked up. Rosemary Kennedy was JFK's sister. She suffered from oxygen deprivation at birth and that unfortunately stunted her mental growth. She had a pretty decent childhood, but as she grew older, she began to act out. Afraid that her behavior would risk his political career, her father, Joseph, agreed to have her lobotomized. Okay, so if you don't know what a lobotomy is, if I'm not mistaken, that's essentially when they take a piece of metal and they insert it through a lobe of your brain to like try to correct any mental disorder or disability you have. And I'm pretty sure that never works, and if anything, it leaves people brain damage, so. But back then, like when it was really popular, people actually believed that the shit worked, just like, what's that one shit, like the electric shock therapy, how people still think that shit works when in reality it's just all fucked. Her mother Rose was against it and forbade him from doing it, so he did it behind her back when she was on a trip. Oh, that is so fucked. After the operation, Rosemary's already low IQ was lowered even further, to the point she could no longer walk or communicate. Her family had her locked up in an institution and basically disowned her. They never visited and never publicly acknowledged her anymore. Rosemary died at the age of 86. Her mother never forgave her husband for what he had done. Okay, well, doesn't she have a say whether or not she's admitted? Like, she could say she never forgave her husband, but at the same time, she also... maybe I just don't know all the details because obviously I'm just reading from a post, but I mean, it seems like she kind of turned her back on her kid too after all that shit happened. So, I mean, there's wrong everywhere, but that lobotomy, what the... Who fucking does that to their own kid? That's so fucked. The men of the ship Essex, the true event that inspires the story Moby Dick, avoided islands after being shipwrecked for fear of cannibals. The islands were settled and landing there would have brought salvation to the survivors. Ironically, because of this bypass, the men ran out of food and were forced to eat each other for survival. Damn, that's fucked. Like, your whole thing is like to try to avoid cannibals, and in turn you become cannibals. Like that's one of the most ironic things of their lives, literally. Cannibals find the palm of the hand the tastiest. Jokes on them, I had my dick in my hand before. Elmer McCurdy was a failed Old West outlaw. His preserved body was put on display in a traveling carnival, and years later, he was eventually assumed to be a mannequin until he was used on set for the TV show, The $6 Million Man. His arm accidentally fell off during the shoot, revealing bone and muscle, and that he was a corpse, not a mannequin. How do... I imagine they would have preserved his body the same way that funeral homes, like, what's that shit called? I wonder if they preserved his body with fucking embalming fluid, but that's gross. I wonder how long did they have his shit for? Oh my gosh, like we don't even know how long they had his body for. Like, that's just gross. One reason that crows and ravens are associated with death is because they will often follow armies as they march to battle. Being both carrion birds and extremely intelligent, they realized that a large group of armed men marching in one direction meant that there would be a tasty meal of corpses to eat soon after. Okay, so that's just a learned trait at that point, but you gotta give it to them, they're smart. Like, they were not planning on starving anytime soon, so... I mean, birds of prey, nah, carrion, they're just way too advantageous to die. Imagine being totally aware of someone performing CPR, but you physically can't move or respond. Well, that's what happens when you get bitten by a blue ringed octopus. You have approximately 6 minutes between being bitten and someone starting CPR to keep your heart and lungs functioning to ensure you survive, all whilst being totally aware of what is happening to you. Neurotoxins are fun. No, they're not. The really creepy thing about this is one story of a guy who got stung, got CPR performed on him and survived, but went blind because he was lying on his back, eyes open, unable to blink because of the paralysis, staring into the sun. Oh my gosh, like there's people who like legitimately like sun gaze, and that is like the dumbest thing I've ever heard of. But just imagine staring into the sun for minutes, like your eyes would have to be screwed at that point. Oh yeah, imagine lying there, unable to move, unable to communicate, the sun slowly burning out your eyes and you can't shut them. Yeah, that's literally, it's just like your eggs are being cooked like an omelet. Like, oh, that's fucked. Imagine lying there, unable to move, unable to communicate, the sun slowly burning out your eyes and you can't shut them. No, I don't think I will. Yeah, I don't blame you there.